What's up everybody, Mr. Media 82 and KeenGamer here with another Let's Play video, and in today's Let's Play video we will be playing Mighty No. 9. I'm really excited about this game because it's been a long time since I've played a Japanese side-scrolling platformer, so let's dive right in. You'll notice that I had some progress here. This is actually my second playthrough. My first one was on the Xbox One. Really no big difference in terms of the graphical presentation, which is a good thing. Let's go ahead and select the first level, which is the city. It's the initial stage in the game. I'm gonna go ahead and skip this cutscene because I don't want to spoil any of the story for those of you who want to play the game. So you'll see that the game is very much like Mega Man in terms of its overall presentation. I'd like to think that it reminds me a bit of Mega Man X. I'm going to go ahead and skip this cutscene again. Let's go ahead and dash right through. What I like about this game is that it's not quite Mega Man, but it's not quite not Mega Man. And what I mean by that is it plays exactly like Mega Man, and what separates it from Mega Man is that dash mechanic that you saw there, which allows you to absorb the remaining enemy particles, causing a chain reaction. You'll notice that every 100% I get, it leads into a combo. The higher the combo, the higher the score. The higher the score, the multiplier will appear and will increase your score in the end game. Now, if you take too long to perform the dash, you'll decrease your percentage and thus ending your combo chain. It's not a bad thing, but you'll see what I mean in a second. I'll give you an example. Watch this. See, he's turning red. I'm letting him sit there. It's at 10%, and my combo in the top right over there actually disappears. I'm going to go ahead and get this energy pellet. It's actually, excuse me, it's not an energy pellet, it's a 1-up. Platforming is very similar to Mega Man games of the past. It's not necessarily a problem, because it makes that feel much more familiar to those who have been veterans of the series.
How long before they break through? Understood. We're already on our way.
See that multiplier? When you chain two dashes together, what it does is it gives you a rating from good to great. You got a quick clear multiplier there. Actually factors into your score in the end game. You'll notice that red icon I had above my head just a moment ago. That lets me know that that Beck's Mega Buster or Blaster is much stronger than it was originally. See, it can go through enemies, some enemies anyway, like you saw right there, and allow you to stun them faster. You'll see the green icon lets me move faster, which is very good in tight situations. That can also be a little bit of a negative, because if you go too fast, you can put yourself in a situation where you're very vulnerable and in some cases die.
Here we go. Lab is just ahead. Sonda.
That guy right there is a little bit like Eddie from the Mega Man series. He essentially levels you up. He heals you just before the main battles. Got a traditional first boss.
The entire laboratory.
Bosses like this actually make me feel really good about games like this, because it kind of sets the tone gradually. Now I'm going to show you a little trick here, or not even a trick. Basically, the reason why it's so important to dash is because if you don't do it in time, particularly on bosses, you'll notice that the health goes right back. You'll see it in a moment there. I'm going to try it again. I didn't see it go up. Oh, well, I dashed right through him. Basically, if you don't dash through him after you take off the certain amount of health, his health regenerates and you have to do it all over again. I think it's a very interesting way of keeping pressure on the player to maintain that level of skill and persistence. And you see right here the score and all the multipliers that I got throughout the level factored into my grade. I haven't been able to get an S rank yet, but you'll see that the higher the score, the higher the grade.
Go ahead and choose.
We'll try another level. Waterworks Bureau seems to be a real fun one for me. I recommend that those of you who are going to play this game start with this particular level, because the character and his ability definitely helps out in most cases. This level here reminds me a lot of Mega Man, particularly bosses like Bubble Man and Freeze Man. It's a little bit of a combination there. And you'll see the dash mechanic. There is really no end to it. You don't need to regenerate anything, you know, to keep doing it. It just keeps going. Obviously, you go down as you keep using it, but it is unlimited. See? Chain a combo, get a multiplier. Doesn't matter if you get 100% on those, because as long as you chain 2, you'll get the multiplier. It's always good to get that 100 because you can get those icons like you just saw there above your head. And it definitely helps out in tight situations. Got another one up there. This part can be tricky. Alrighty. Now you'll see what I mean by the dash mechanic can be unlimited right there. I'm going to just try to get through this a little quickly. Oops, just up there. Let's get up top. Awesome. Now this is where it starts to remind me of Freeze Man and, you know, a little bit of Ice Man, because the traction on the floor makes you slip. And rightfully so, it's an ice level. There's no reason why you shouldn't slip. Yeah, I keep getting hit by those. Never fails. Oh. So you notice this icon in the top left underneath the energy bar. If I press pause, what that'll allow me to do is recover. So any health, no matter how much I've lost, you'll see that I can recover. Like so.
Well,
skip that. Oh, I can't skip that. Nah. I don't want to spoil any of the story for you guys. But typical, you know, Mega Man style mini boss. What I like about this one is it reminds me very much like Pong. Pong is one of my favorite old school titles because it's one of the first video games ever made. Let's see if I can get this guy. Yeah, got him. Okay, almost done. Perfect. Time to move on. Some of these areas can be a little tricky, not because they're slippery, but because they're slippery and they can be narrow. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. See if I can get that pellet over there. Got it. One of the worst things I don't like about this game is when you get frozen, it takes forever to get out of it, as you saw it right there.
that's more like it.
Got a rematch with that mini boss from earlier.
Let's try this again.
It's a little harder this time, and you'll see why in a minute.
Oh, you
Alright, I'm glad we got through it before I was killed. Luckily there's a health pack over there. Now here's one of those areas that I was talking about being narrow. You'll see in a second that it's very unforgiving. So I'm going to take out these enemies real quick. I don't want to die. Ooh, I got through the level, well, that section of the level rather, excuse me, without dying. Usually I die once or twice before I get it. Here's the initial opening of the door, and here we meet our first boss, Cryosphere. A little bit of Aquaman, a little bit of
You just refuse to chill out, don't you, Ray?
Iceman, if you will.
I'm sure it's nothing a little cold shower won't cure.
Let's try to get through this without dying. I think I'm going to die here, because he usually gets me at least once. It's one of my favorite bosses to play. Very simple, yet very fun.
Hold on!
Ah, he got me. See if we can get through it. This pattern is very easy to remember. He changes his attack once you take enough of his energy off, and you'll see if I can get through it. I don't know if I'm going to get through it. I barely made it. Ah, he got me. Well, we'll give it another shot. Hopefully we'll get him on the second try.
Cryo!
Skip that since we already saw that. Let's take care of him real quick. So once you get him to about half of his life, he'll change his attack, as I stated earlier. So in that, you want to try to avoid it as much as possible because he will freeze you. Boom! Got him. And it's as simple as that. Stay on top of your boss, keep shooting him, keep dashing. You don't want his health to regen. You do get achievements for doing that, and it does actually affect your score in the end, which is good because you can get a higher grade. Actually, I think that's the highest I've gotten on him, so that makes me kind of happy. Kind of makes me feel like a noob, but what are you going to do? Now, before we go, I'm going to show you the challenges, which are actually pretty fun. We'll start with the first one, and then if you guys are interested in purchasing the game, you can see the rest for yourself. You know, if you want to see what I think of the game in its entirety, feel free to check out my review at KeenGamer.com and look for Mr. Media 82. It's a pretty straightforward challenge here. You just got to sprint to the finish line. It's not really all that challenging, but with each challenge, the enemies they appear in greater numbers, and you have to perform different tasks depending on the challenge. This one is just a straight sprint to the finish line. And the way you fail these things is by either dying or the time running out. And it's as simple as that. So I'm going to leave you with that, a small taste of Mighty No. 9. So I hope you enjoyed this Let's Play. Please don't forget to visit KeenGamer.com. Check out all the reviews for all your gaming interest. And till next time.
End the game. Initializing power down sequence.